Good morning, YouTube. Look at that beautiful background scenery right there. I'm out on a walk with my dogs, and I got this question on Instagram, and I figured I'd just make a whole video out of it. Why does the regular military hate special operations? Well, there's a few reasons why the regular military hates special operations. For starters, the obvious one is complete jealousy, right? Most men in the military want to go to a special operations or a specialized unit, but the problem is they lack the courage to even sign up. That's it. Or they signed up and they went and they didn't pass or didn't get selected, and they have a bad taste in their mouth, right? That's the obvious one. And the funny thing is, most of these people that want to go but are too scared to sign up could totally possibly pass, right? But the thing is, like, do you think a community like that wants people who lack the courage to even sign their name up on a dotted line? No, they don't. Now, let's look at the other side of that coin. Why do regular military hate special operations? Well, let's just see here. Most leadership in the regular military, especially the Marine Corps, pertaining to MARSOC at least, because I was a Marine Raider, don't like MARSOC don't like special operations guys, because of their lack of discipline, according to them. Meaning, their unconventional use of verbiage, their unconventional use of military uniforms and items, right? And some guys in the military, especially just dudes that are so disconnected, they don't know how to open up their apertures and see things a little differently. Now let's go to the completely separate spectrum. Most special operations guys are douchebags. Most special operations people think they're better than everyone else. And I don't know about you, but that would leave a bad taste in my mouth as well, right? No one likes to be around an arrogant prick. And a lot of soft guys are arrogant pricks. It just is what it is. Not right or wrong, just kind of how that cookie crumbles. Why? I don't really know why. Maybe it's the coddling, maybe it's the extra pay, maybe it's the cool guy status, right? But there's a lot of things that take place into that. And the reason why special operations guys kind of get a bad rap sometimes, or most of the time, is one, at large, they just shit talk each other. I mean, all you have to do is go on the internet and you can find 1,000 videos of how this special forces guy is a turd, or he's fake, or hasn't done anything. Well, for the most part, most special operations guys haven't done as much as most infantry people have done. See, unlike the Marine Corps, the Navy and the Army are the only two branches of service where you can go directly from boot camp to special operations. So you can get an option 40 contract in the Army and become an Army Ranger. You can get I forgot what they call it for the Green Beret one, but you can go straight to selection and assessment and selection for Army SF, Army Special Forces. In the Navy, you can go straight to BUDS, right? So those guys have never been in the fleet per se, or, an infantry unit. And where Marines, not all Marines have to be prior infantry to go to MARSOC, to try out for MARSOC, Marine Special Operations Command. Some of my best students when I was an instructor were like intel guys, right? Comm guys. Dudes that didn't have shitty attitudes or a chip on their shoulders. Like myself, I started off in the infantry battalion, 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines, 1st Marine Division. And I was in a scout sniper platoon for my first 2 deployments before I went to Force Reconnaissance. And then from Force Reconnaissance, I went to Marine Special Operations Command. Now, during my time in the infantry, well, during the 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006 timeframe, even probably up to like 2008, I'd say the infantry was getting after it. Right now, the infantry will always be the backbone of the United States military. I don't care what anyone says. The infantry is the bee's knees, right? And so there's so much more experience sometimes within maybe large-scale fighting in the infantry than there is in special operations. I remember on my first deployment in Fallujah back in 2004, I was on a rooftop in Fallujah, and I'm probably there now 2-3 months, and these Delta Force sniper teams came to our location. They're like, hey, we heard you guys were getting in a lot of stuff, and we thought that maybe you guys could use your help. And use our help indeed. That's exactly what we could use. And so these guys came there, and we're literally in gunfights all day, every day. Now we're fighting at this point. We took over my particular platoon that I was supporting, Echo Company 2-1. We were in stationary buildings, and every day after morning prayer, fighting would start. We would have probably 6 to 7 skirmishes a day, every day for 7 months. And one day we went on this patrol to take over this compound across the cemetery that we were taking constant enemy sniper fire from. So the infantry platoon set out, my scout sniper team set out, and the Delta Force sniper team set out, and we took over this compound in the early hours of the morning. We got there, we found a bunch of weapons caches. If you don't know what that means, basically we found chest rigs, ammunition, RPGs, weapons. We found loopholes or spider holes, basically these positions that they could shoot from and not be seen, but they could see us. And so then later that afternoon, everything that could go wrong went wrong, and we found ourselves getting overran by a danger close ambush, leave it, with enemy fighters being next door, trying to jump into a rooftop, running through a front door, jumping into windows. And for me personally, it was the scariest day of my life. And this was April 26, 2004. When we got back to our stronghold position, which was just across the cemetery, one of the Delta guys told me, he's like, hey man, I've never been in a fight like that before. And I'm like, you're Delta Force. How have you never been in a fight like that before? Well, their mission, being Delta Force, yes, they're special operations, but they are a tier 1 unit. Their mission is a little bit more precise and precision than, I would say, White SOF or General Special Operations, which would include Army Green Berets, Navy SEALs, sometimes Army Rangers, and of course, Marine Raiders. So the tier 1 unit guys, Delta Force, SEAL Team 6, they're like, yeah, we're not used to that type of stuff. They have a precision target, right? They engage that target and they move on with their day. I'm like, bro, this is like every day for us, and anytime we're doing like a big push or a big assault. I remember my second deployment to Iraq in 2005. I left in January 2006. We did Operation Steel Curtain, and we pushed through city after city after city after city after city, it seemed like. Then we got back on a boat and we floated back home to San Diego, California. And even on that deployment, the Force Recon guys weren't really into the thick of it as we were. Why? Because they had a different mission set. Now, the Marine Infantry, the tankers, the LAR guys, the light armor reconnaissance guys, artillery, motor T, cooks, all those dudes and gals were hooking and jabbing. They were getting after it. Now, that does not mean that special operations at large does not get in crazy thick of it gunfights. When I deployed to Afghanistan my second time with MARSOC, that was probably the most fighting in Afghanistan that I encountered. And it was not similar to Fallujah, but it was very close in regards to the sheer amount of violence, right? Afghanistan was a different type of fighting, but also the big military wasn't conducting large-scale missions. It was all a special operations mission, essentially, where Marines and soldiers would lock down bases and fire bases and do kind of patrols, but they weren't really doing kinetic operations, doing engaging operations. So why does the regular military hate special operations so much? Literally, guys, the list can go on. At the end of the day, I always tell people this: if your dream is to be a cook in the military, be the best cook you can be. And at any time you want to change your career path, go for it. This is your life. You're not a better soldier, Marine, sailor by being a special operations guy or being a cook. You're a good soldier, sailor, airman, and Marine because you're a good person, right? And I always made it a habit. Most of my buddies around me in MARSOC always made it a habit to treat the Marines every time we had a chance to interact with them the absolute best, right? We'd always give them all the good food that we had access to. We'd give them our protein we had access to. We'd give them access to literally everything: heaters, air conditioners, all sorts of things, because in their command, they either didn't have access to it or they weren't allowed it, right? I remember my second trip to Afghanistan. It was Thanksgiving, and we got airdropped a bunch of turkeys and deep fryers. And so we went over to the Marine base that was right next to us, and we gave them a bunch of turkeys, a bunch of fixings, these deep fryers. And at the time, the Marine leadership did not know that we were Marines. We were all wearing different uniforms. All the guys besides me had a beard, right? We had different guns. Everything we were wearing is different. Our vehicles are different. Everything about us is different. And then that same evening, one of the guys in that unit was a sniper with me way back in the day in Fallujah. And so people are like, y'all know each other? Like, yeah, we used to work together. And they're like, wait, you're a Marine? I'm like, yes, I'm a staff sergeant. And the Marine leadership instantly started to discredit us. They started to write us off. They started to act different to us now. But before, everything was all cool and kosher and copacetic. And then all of a sudden it was like, you guys suck. Get away from my guys. And the really crazy thing about arrogance, it goes on both sides. And this Marine leadership in particular, we would warn them time and time again, give them intelligence information about fighters in the local area, what they're planning, things that we were getting from our sources, and they refused to listen. And unfortunately, the Marines still did certain patrols and unfortunately took casualties because of their own arrogance. And not the arrogance of the lower echelon people, but the arrogance of their leadership, their officer staff, and their staff and CO staff, right? Their staff non-commissioned officer staff. And it's really sad. And I would say that's another reason why regular military leadership does not like special operations, is for starters, you can't control us. You can't give me orders of what to do. Now you can Marine Corps me, you can correct me because I'm breaking some code of conduct under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, sure. But you're not gonna give me marching orders because I don't work for you. And they don't like that because some young Marine Corps officers and military officers in general, they think, A, they know everything because they went to West Point or to college, and B, because they're an officer, that they're just magical tacticians. And I'm telling you guys, I've been on 6 deployments, 7 trips, right? My 7th trip to Africa was cut short. I think we were there for like 40 days. So I think we need to be there like 49 days to rate a deployment. But we were recalled early because my team was rescheduled to go to Afghanistan months later. So we had to come back and prepare for that fight. But out of all my experience, 15 years, 7 months experience as a United States Marine, Marine Corps Scout Sniper, Force Reconnaissance Marine, and Marine Raider, retiring as a Marine Master Sergeant, right? So I've been on the lower level of things, and that's how I started. And then I've been on the upper management level of things. That's how I finished. I can tell you that arrogance and incompetence isn't bound by job title. There's plenty of it in the military. There's plenty of it in the civilian workforce. There's plenty of it everywhere you go. And so the key to all of it, right, is just be a good dude. Take care of people. Look out for people. Use your voice. Speak up, right? Don't be this pushover. And if you have a desire to want to go to special operations, then go for it. And don't care about what anyone else says or thinks about it, right? And if you don't want to go for it because you just really have no desire to go do it, enjoy your job. Just be good at it. I can't tell you how many times I even saw guys in special operations who deployed but didn't get in combat would talk about, man, I didn't do anything. What a waste of time. I'm like, you're missing the whole point, bro. Do you think that honorable service is only fighting? I mean, guys, you know how many decades that we weren't in an armed conflict? Do you think all those guys and girls that joined the military in whatever branch were pointless and worthless? No. But for whatever psychological issues that we have that's early on imprinted us as kids, and then we joined the psychological warfare program called the United States military, and you're constantly told you're not good enough, to shut up and color, and to be a silent professional, and to just accomplish the mission, doesn't matter how you feel. It has tainted the minds of our brave men and women who serve our country. So, why does the regular Marine Corps or why does the regular military hate special operations? That's just because people are going to hate.